Hi everybody. Well, today I am at the Johnson County Museum here in Buffalo, Wyoming. Johnson County. Probably heard of the Johnson County Cattle Wars. This is where that took place. Jim Gatchell was the first pharmacist in Wyoming, and because he was raised on the Sioux Reservation, he could speak the native tongue, and a lot of the local Native Americans gave him gifts of all kinds of artifacts, and which, because of the Native American artifacts, they don't allow filming inside, but it's worth it. $5 for a senior, $7 for an adult, $3 I think for children. There's all kinds of interesting things about the various battles that happen around here. The Fetterman battle, where Fetterman leading a group of cavalry out to rescue some woodcutters that were under siege by the Indians. A couple of the natives he was told not to engage and not have a battle, but they lured him over a hill out of sight of the fort and massacred him. So there's all kinds of other things. Really worth the visit. What they do allow is filming outside, in the buildings outside. So I'm going to take a look in this one. It's a nice log cabin. And we'll go around the other one, but really nice wood stove and small arms ammunition box. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And a old washing machine and butter churn. Here in the kitchen there's a sewing machine. I don't know if you can see through the glass. We'll go around the other side and see what's in the other side of the building. And this side's sort of the general living area. You got the bed and a few comfy chairs, one made out of a barrel. It's sort of interesting. Now my guess is that when this was moved here and reconstructed, and it's a whole different style of roof that was probably on there. I'm betting that there used to be a loft, but because they didn't. So, but right next to it is a nice lodge, a little smaller than the one I lived in for a while, but similar style. I never did get around to painting mine, but it's cooler in here with it up off the ground. The air can come in, hot air can go out, and surprisingly, well, it's also in the shade. That doesn't hurt. Well, I wish I could have taken you inside, showed you around, but I'm gonna go from here to a fort. It's in the same town. We'll see what else is around. As I said, at the Jim Gatchell Museum, coming down here to a fort. It's only about 15 minutes away. It's right off of I-90, and Fort Phil Kearny. It's only in existence for 2 years, but a whole lot of stuff happened around this area, and that was 2 years. So we enter the actual grounds of the fort. And of course, if you can see the fence line and you see the corners It was a pretty big area. Not a whole lot left here, but they do have plaques for a guided tour or a self-guided tour, and you could pick up a brochure when you pay. All right, here's a good map of the fort. We are in the center where the flagpole would have been. The powder magazine would have been located in that mode area just over here. And the horses were over that way. And the hay yard was outside of the or past the horse area. So I said, bad timing, ill-advised. Red Cloud was a famous Native American who was a master strategy, and he united the Sioux, the Cheyenne, and the Arapaho, and to drive the whites out of this area. And he attended the treaty negotiations in Fort Laramie. I think I covered that a couple years back. And they, his terms were that these forts be removed. He would not sign a peace treaty until they were. And that did not happen. Actually, while that was going on is when these forts were starting to be built. And I'm going to start that over again. So this fort was, as I said, a contentious issue, and it's why Red Cloud wouldn't sign a peace treaty and kept up his war with the army. And when they finally, like I said, this place was only in existence for 2 years, and in 1868, when they ordered the 3 forts to be abandoned, they left here, and Red Cloud sent people in, they burned it to the ground. So no structures, of course, being wooden structures, not a whole lot as far as foundations, that type of thing, like we saw at Fort Bowie or Fort Laramie for that matter. Basically returned to grassland. So a couple of the battles, or at least one I'm pretty sure you'd heard of, maybe not, but it was known as the Fetterman Battle. That's what the Army called it. The natives called it 100 in the hand, and I'm going to go with that name as we go because they won. But I'm going to go over to that site in a little bit, and we will talk about the battle over there. The other battle that happened in this area was the wagon box fight, and I'm going to go there first after I leave here. And for you band enthusiasts, and I know there's a couple out there, this is where the quarters for the regimental band was. And actually, wagon trains coming up the Bozeman Trail reported that they could hear the band before they could see the fort. Go figure, the band. So this monument is on the site of the wagon box fight. And the Army wanted or had civilian contractors to supply them with wood. And out here, you get the wood off of the hills. It's about 5 miles from the fort, and this area is where they took the wagon boxes off of the running gear. They had 14, I think, around in an oval to keep the stock inside so that the Indians wouldn't run them off. And the morning of August 2nd, 1867, they were getting ready to start their day when a group of natives attacked. And what the natives were used to dealing with the troops with muzzle loaders, and these guys had a conversion that made it so that they could put a 50 caliber brass shell in breech loading, much faster, more accurate, more powerful, and that stopped them. Not right away. From some accounts, a lot of the natives were up on the hill just spectating, watching, and they saw that the attacking warriors weren't getting very far, so they joined in. It ended up being about 600 natives against like 26, I think, or thereabouts, troopers here. We're about 5 miles from the fort, and they did send reinforcements, got here around noon, and that's what stopped the battle. But the natives had attacked for about 3 hours. And can you imagine being under attack in this tiny little spot? And of course, what's just over that rise, or that rise, and they said that was it. Natives just kept pouring up out of these ravines all the way around. So this one took place after the battle that I'm just about to go to and show you. They expected the same fate here as what happened there. They survived. Gives you a hint about what we're going to next. So let's get over to another woodcutting detail. Well, as I mentioned, the fort depended on civilian woodcutters, and on December 21st, 1866, there was a wagon train of woodcutters over here. And actually, they're right along the Bozeman Trail, which probably would have come right along where that present-day road is, because it went right down below this hill and up and over and around. Fort Kearny is over that rise, or over that hill. When they heard fighting going on, Colonel Carrington, who commanded the fort, ordered a group of troopers to come out and rescue them. And Captain Fetterman, who is a brevet lieutenant colonel, which means in the Civil War he had been promoted to be a lieutenant colonel, but after the war, when he stayed in, his official rank became captain, much like General Custer was actually, I believe, a colonel after the war. Happened to a lot. But anyway, I better hurry up with this. I think that rain is coming this way. So anyway, Fetterman was under orders to not go past, what was it, Lodge Trail Ridge, which is that, I believe. He was lured back here by 10 Sioux and Arapaho warriors that possibly included Crazy Horse and American Horse, who became much more famous later on. But anyway, they were lured. There were 10 of them. For whatever reason, he couldn't resist. He chased them, came around this side, and found himself facing over 1,000 warriors with his 75 men. They got to this hill and actually stretched all the way over to that hill. This is now known as Massacre Hill. The natives called it 100 in the Hand, and we're going to go with that name. The whites call it Fetterman's Battlefield, but I go with who won. In any case, over the course of that battle, all of the troopers were killed, totally wiped out. This is 1866. This is 10 years before Custer. This was the worst defeat where an entire command was wiped out in the history of the United States Army at that time. They sent reinforcements, and when they came up over the hill and looked down, they thought they saw just piles of logs. What they were actually the bodies of all the troopers. They had been stripped, they had been mutilated, which was a common practice, and possibly partly in revenge from the Sandhill Massacre, which had occurred a couple years earlier. There was only one body that was left alone, and that was, sorry, looking for the guy's name. I don't want to misspell it. Adolf Metzger. He was a bugler, and after interviews afterwards with the natives were that he had fought so bravely with just his bugle as a weapon that they honored him. They did not mutilate his body. They actually covered it with a buffalo robe, and again, they honored his bravery, which speaks a lot for just how fiercely he fought with only a bugle. Many years later, they found a bugle here, or in this area, that was flattened out. That's in the museum that we visited at the beginning of the video. I wish I could have shown it to you. But anyway, if you're gonna pick a spot to try to defend yourself, this seems like a good spot. It's high ground, drops off rapidly, but when you're facing overwhelming odds of over 1,000 to 73, I think, or 75, yeah, don't really have much chance. So I mentioned in the wagon box fight that they expected that same kind of thing to happen here, or there, as happened here 8 months earlier. That was 8 months later. The difference is, in that one, they had the rifles that could be loaded much faster than what they had here. And there you go. That's the end of my visit to the area around Fort Phil Kearny. And as usual, as long as this video is, I did not cover everything. There are very detailed and very well done markers, trail markers. If that rain wasn't headed this way, there's an interpretive trail that I may take. Just risk the rain. So anyway, I am going to get on the road. I hope you've stuck with me through this whole video, and let's see what other interesting things I can find. If you look at a map, you can probably figure out where I'm close to sometime in the next video or two. So anyway, I'll see you later, YouTube.
Jumped off the wagon and he spread out his knees. Brace yourself